don't know me, something that's not on my resume is why I'm passionate about education. So, a few years ago, probably about 10 years ago, about the time I was starting at Trimble, my wife and I found out we weren't able to have children. We had some really hard decisions to make, right? We could adopt, you could foster, we could keep trying and most likely kill her, or we could go and try to educate the rest of the world. So she's a board-certified behavior analyst. She works with a lot of children and adults with neurodiverse potential disabilities and works with people locally in our community and all over the world. And I decided to kind of direct my passions towards education within Trimble. So that's kind of how we got into this, and I've had a lot of people tell me, hey, stop it. Don't get an education, there's no money in it. When things get tight, that's the first division they're gonna cut, right? Just, you need to go concentrate on other things, go concentrate on money. Well, that's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep fighting, we're gonna keep trying to educate the masses, and that's where we're gonna go. One of the big misnomers that people don't understand about going into trades is that the ROI is substantial. So these aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. You don't necessarily have to not go to college if you go into the trades, but if you start with the trades first, you can put some significant dollars in your pocket. So late last year, I put together some statistics. I went through and I found all the national averages. Obviously, this is US based, but the average cost of college per year for the first 4 years, you're around $35,000. You add that up. If you actually graduate within 4 years, the average salary is about $55,000. You've got some average interest rates you're going to have to pay on those college loans. So all in, when you get done with school, you make your first $55,000 out of that first year, you're still down by about $100,000. Now, if you go into the trades and you get this is an average hourly salary for, just say, a construction worker, $20 an hour, you're working through, you're getting increases in your salary as you go through the apprenticeships. By the time you're done, within the first 4 or 5 years, you've made about $260,000. That doesn't include some of the other benefits, right? If you earn an associate's degree while you're going to that program, because a lot of these programs are accredited, so you can get an actual associate's degree while you're finishing your apprenticeship. And there's all sorts of other things that actually don't get qualified into that $300,000 delta, right? You've got pension plans, you've got side work that you're doing, you've got sweat equity. So that's a lot of things that people don't talk about when you get into the trades, is you now know how to do things on your home. You're not having to pay maybe a plumber $200 an hour to come fix that leaky faucet or fix that toilet. You've got a network of friends that can come in and do a lot of that other work that you might have to go hire out that costs a lot of money nowadays if you can't find those folks. The really big statistic that I found when I went through all this research was the average salary after being out of MIT, which was the highest ranking salary 10 years out of graduating, was about $91,000. And this is just last year. And I challenge anybody in here, if you know a foreman or somebody that's willing to be a foreman or a superintendent for any of the trades, and they've got 4 to 5 years of an apprenticeship and another 10 years of experience, and they're only making $91,000 a year, give me their resume. I'll find them a better job, right? They will make more money. So make sure your children and your friends' children know about that. Now, some of the things that we've done within Trimble here is we've been really working on the whole process for digital twins, prefabrication, autonomy, robotics, right? Because we're not going to solve the workforce shortage just with trying to recruit. Where it's a numbers game, we have to reduce the demand as well. So the digital twins are a huge part of this. If you can build it in virtual reality first, you're going to make a huge impact when you go out to the field, right? You've already pre-planned it. You understand what the project's going to look like. You're just going to be able to understand the project in general. I got into technology through layout. I was handed a big stack of drawings on a elliptical hospital out in Colorado Springs, and they told me I was going to have to be responsible for laying that project out. Handed me the drawings and said, all right, good luck, kid. It's like, oh, Jesus, okay. So I went and I learned AutoCAD real quick. I got into robotic layout, or total station layout. It wasn't even robotics back in that point in time, and we laid that project out. Hundreds of thousands of individual points, every single piece of concrete, every piece of mechanical, electrical, plumbing items out there, every single wall corner, door corner, window corner. We laid every one of those out because you really couldn't do it with a tape measure. You can do layout with a tape measure maybe on a circle, but you start doing ellipses, the math gets really complicated really quickly. So that's how I got into technology. I never really considered myself a computer guy or technology guy, but once I saw the results that we had on that project, we ended up finishing a month early, handed $1 million back over to the owner. We hit every one of our concrete dates. Everything kind of went into place, and I was a firm believer. I never wanted to go back the other way. Then we got into laser scanning, trying to do prefabrication on a lot of these hospital projects while they're fully operational, and you're going to go rebuild the mechanical room or replace a boiler or add in new systems, right? These are literally life-critical systems. People are on the table. They're getting operated on. So you may have a 1-hour shutdown period. So we would go in, we'd scan these mechanical rooms, make sure we knew exactly where all the existing piping systems were. Then we'd prefabricate everything we possibly could, shut that area down for as short a time period as possible, pull in the new boiler, make the connections, get everything back online, do your testing, and get people back into the operating room. Made a huge impact. And now what you can see, if you've attended any of the laser scanning presentations or gone through the expo hall, the things we can do with laser scanners now are absolutely incredible. When I first learned laser scanning 10, 15, that's 20 years ago now, like it took a week of class just to understand the base course of the software. Every time you went out and scanned, it was 2.5 hours, and you had to carry a liquid-cooled computer with you to process the data. Another 3 to 4 weeks to stitch everything together, and then months to 3D model it. Now, I can take the controller out, and I show the kids, I'm like, okay, what button do you think we should press? And they're like, scan? Like, yep, press the scan button. Then what button do you press? Like start? Like, yep, congratulations, you're a laser scanning expert. Good job, kids. Right? Like that is a true game changer where you can actually collect that data at 1 million points a second and train somebody in 15 to 20 minutes on how to use these systems. And now all of a sudden they are actually controlling that project and all the quality control that they could possibly see. Augmented and mixed reality, like there's nothing that gets kids' attentions more than augmented and mixed reality. When you take them to these recruiting fairs or we go and we teach classes, they see these glasses and they see the augmented reality, and now they actually understand what the hell they're actually trying to build out there, right? Before, you're trying to show them a plan, and imagine if this looked kind of like this. Now you go, hey, it's going to look like this. Can you build that? Yep, cool, let's go, right? That's all it takes, and they understand it in a matter of seconds. Another big part of this is training and certifications. You know, every one of these folks want a micro-credential. You don't necessarily need a 4-year degree to say I'm qualified, but if you can get these credentials and these certificates, add those onto your 4-year degree, add those onto your apprenticeships, that really starts to build out your resume and helps the employers understand what your qualifications really are. So we've done a lot within the educational workforce development arena. You know, we started with Trimble Technology Labs about 2015. I got heavily involved back then, and now we're up to over 35 Trimble Technology Labs at various universities across the world. I think we're in 3 or 4 continents and 16 or 18 different countries now. Really great program, hard to scale. These are very large endeavors. It takes a lot of intensive work. Basically, every one of these is a massive key accounts across multiple software, multiple hardware, multiple departments, so a little tougher to lift. So we've really started concentrating now on helping with the trades. So going in there with train-the-trainer programs with quite a few of the organizations that we're involved with, and it's really a numbers game. You start looking at this, right? And I just put in a spreadsheet here on the right to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at, but you know, we're a member of the ABC on the Technology Alliance, Technology Marketplace. They've got 23,000 contractor members. The AGC has 27,000 contractor members, not just members of people, those are actual companies, right? We start looking at the individual unions and trade organizations that we're working with, right? OPCMIA, I think there are 57,000 members roughly across North America. We've got the IBEW, that's 750, maybe 775,000 members across North America now, right? If we can get out there and train the masses and train the trainers on how these systems work, how they make a difference in the workers' lives, how they're going to improve their overall income potential, it makes a huge impact. So, big fan of doing direct trainings. I love going out and teaching. There's nothing better than seeing a light bulb turn on when you get the kids to understand what the heck they're looking at and why they may want to get into these professions. We work with a lot of universities, a lot of community colleges, a lot of the trade training programs, pushing the autonomy and the robotics in there as well. So again, Spot the Dog. I know hopefully everybody's seen Spot over there in the expo hall. I've literally walked down a college hallway with Spot the Dog, and kids got up, walked right past their professor, who's literally given a speech right in front of them, and walked out the door, just like followed me around with their phone, taking pictures, because that was the coolest thing they've ever seen. Right now we can actually incorporate that into construction processes. We're involved in a lot of research and grants. The presentation that was here just prior talked a little bit about a research project we did with Saunders Construction on sustainability and carbon sequestration and how we can use laser scanning to improve the overall quality of the buildings. We're also involved with National Renewable Energy Lab with a Department of Energy grant, looking at how we can actually go in, laser scan an existing facade, prefabricate panel systems to go over there and kind of, I equate it to putting a koozie over a building, kind of a cute little analogy, but pre-building panels to go in and make these buildings a lot more energy efficient. New doors, new windows, new HVAC systems, and the goal for this grant project from the Department of Energy, it's called the Advanced Building and Construction Initiative, is to make all the buildings within the United States carbon neutral by 2050. You start thinking about the statistics behind that, and number of square footage and the number of face feet on those buildings. This is an astronomical number. So the only way we can do that is to automate this process as much as possible, automate the panelization system as much as possible, and then use virtual reality, mixed reality, laser scanners, total stations to get everything in place as quickly as possible and validate it and get out of there. So that's what we're doing on a lot of the Trimble fronts. So.